the 6th place position team through the EU Open qualifiers. Their stats not looking all too up to scratch for now, but at the very least, we get a chance to see them contribute. Now, win or die, finally get a chance to try and turn their fortune around. An early engagement going their way as Entropic sort of just drives straight into the middle of, I don't even think this was intended to be a roadblock. Win or die were just scouting around that southern edge for position. And Entropic just pull up directly in front of them, but they will take 2 free kills. Hawkey more than likely to join his teammates in the grave. Grendis with his work cut out for him if he wants to try and change his fate.
Let's take a look and see. Win or die definitely doesn't want to let this rest. As you can tell, Leosh now gets the flash in towards Arky. Grendis now just behind the rock. Doesn't get spotted, but I think he wants to take this fight as well. He takes the timing, rotates around the right side of the corner. We can see Na'Vi in the distance already approaching this. Third party is in full effect, and what we all experience in the ranked games on a daily basis. So does Win or Die right now, but the difference is it's in Peg Spring, and these guys need the points.
Sure, we said it yesterday as well. It was BB team that was in this position, and it's either you're playing in a compound or you're getting ran down by 17 teams back to back. Grendis tries to capitalize, tries to make something happen off the back of 2 big knocks coming out from the side of Na'Vi, but not to be, and another as well as Gedrox has gone down. And Win or Die, just when it looks like they might have an opportunity to actually do something in one of these games, Na'Vi comes in and says, absolutely not.
Absolutely not indeed. Fairist and the rest of them are going to look for Leosh as well. Get spotted out. Fairist, so said, Diffix. Everyone gets a frag. Diffix even gets 2. And the romance so far is missing again. Akitori goes out clean. The one man that we've all been so desperately waiting for to pop off again in Peg Spring has been relatively quiet so far.
Anime fans back in the bin for one more game. Still got 3 more opportunities to see that big screen logo, but so far the way that things are going, it's not looking too hot for Win or Die, that's for sure. Just unfortunate timing. Again, they got really good timing on Entropic coming in from the south. They had 3 knocks. It all looked so peachy and clean. And then Na'Vi just wrapping around the side. 2 knocks with DMRs from distance. And Na'Vi, when they see an opening like that, they're not going to let it slide, pushing all the way in as fast as possible. Lucarux just finishing off the spray that Ibiza started off on towards O'Connell. He's pushing up with a Panzer Faust. Yeah, I mean, hey, he could have a teammate there looking to grab the revive already. And if he does, they're both getting smithereens.
Well, the only thing that was missing now is the flush with a Panzer Faust. That would have been the ultimate disrespect, but not going to go for it. Ibiza takes up the frag from Lucarux, actually, who was the one to get that initial knock. And look at the big split they've got going. Pretty good stuff coming out from Apples once again. They've been very consistent in picking up now throughout, not only today, but throughout yesterday as well. We all remember that How fight they had in the very early stages of the second Miramar game. And it looks like it's the same here.
Yeah, we have talked in the past about IGLs, different styles of IGLing that teams like to favor. How certain teams like to have an IGL playing as the anchoring player to get a wider picture of the battlefield in front of them. Others like to be the ones on the front line micromanaging the team fights. Fairest very much in the latter category, as he alone is pushing up close to Senka Pow Pow, and the rest of Newgate in the compound has some cover from the rest of Na'Vi from distance. And they're just feeling confident in their DMR shots, giving Fairist an opportunity to try and dislodge them from this position. They've definitely identified that it's a split. Maybe not 100% certain of where the opposite half of the residing, but they know that it's not anywhere close, so they're just going to brute force their way into the position. Newgate more than happy to oblige, but Mika around the outside. Let's not forget there's another edge team, but just out of harm's way at the final second before the last bullet can land.
I think they were together as well. I think Kilyakai just he must have been barely outside a vision of Soset, because I don't think he shot anything towards Soset, unfortunately. That would have been a clean frag. But look at this, Ascend has troubles on the other side of the city, as it is a southwest shift. Pretty good one for them. Briggs gets spotted out. Does he know Kron is there? I don't think so. Kron hits the shots, but only 1 headshot and doesn't take him down. Still, trouble remains as Itzchris pops down 20 more damage points on towards him, but it's not the initial contact you want to have.
First bullet headshot, just can't land the follow-up onto the spray. It did look a little bit sketchy as the rest of Ascend trying to get a pick on towards Sosed. at the same time as it's Chris just drove into the western side of Hosan, straight in the middle of Fairy Tale. But let's not kid ourselves. These players have a whole lot of experience, probably hundreds, if not thousands of hours hot dropping in this portion of the city. So they'll know the angles. And Brex using that knowledge to his advantage just to dip out of harm's way as Kron maybe misses an opportunity to get a big opening peek. But April certainly will not be missing those. It's Chris into an exposed portion of the roof and was not ready for the off angle of April.
No, he wasn't. That would have been disastrous for April if he would have been spoiled beforehand, but it's Chris 2 tunnel visioned on towards the players of Fairy Tale inside the city. And thus, they will be going into this whole fight with an advantage again. And this is the third time now. We've seen Ascend lose players early on. They still managed to win the round in the last game, but could have been very different as well if they would have met teams more isolated on the edge with more players left alive earlier. But luckily for them, they didn't. Tusta, first of all, now takes down Diffix. Not going to be able to flash him immediately. Going to have to take a look at the rest of the Na'Vi players now and his teammates. I think they are just about arriving as well.
It's the final bullet in the spray. Diffix almost managed to get down behind the ridge just in time before the AUG was no longer going to be of any effective use. But he does manage to get the knock onto Diffix, and Na'Vi playing the edge in a classic edge play style. Very wide split, controlling a wide area. But when one of those areas is a hilltop with a forest, there's always an opportunity that someone's going to creep up and catch you off like that. Well played from Bumble Squad. Held his nerve, did Tusta, to get that initial knock and secure the flush as well. Pod Samolet had a little bit of an accident in their compound, but not too much pressure on them. They should be able to grab that revive without too much threat.
No threats whatsoever. Oh, there is apparently continuous threat inside the city of Hosan. As Brex gets another frag on Fairy Tale. He doesn't want to let this rest. And I think the rest of the players don't either. Kilyakai gets the flush on it. So it is back to a 3-on-3. Another kill being secured by Ascend. They have secured these 4 massive buildings on the outside of the city. Pretty good exit points for the city as well. And we all know, we've all played ranked and publics in and around this city. These buildings are very, very hard to push. They are absolutely horrible to play against. So pretty good spots coming out from Ascend.
And it's interesting that Fairy Tale even followed Ascend as, I mean, they got over onto that side. It was a disengage from the initial engagement to the northwestern area of Hosan, but I mean, Brightside just committed to trying to take the fight, and everyone who doesn't come with him gets a pay cut, it seems, as they're holding on to the northwestern side of the zone. But now Ascend may just get a little bit of audio cue, if not visual, that there is shenanigans occurring on the hill out to the east, as Ketput has made a very aggressive move up the hill. The rest of Howl still holding onto their compound for now, looking to try and hold down as Na'Vi try to find a way to get into the zone themselves.
Let's see if Kappa can be patient and can be rewarded by his patience. Because so said, he's slowly creeping up on his spot. P90 now, whole different fight. Global Army gets the first one, takes down Nixie. Mapples in all sorts of trouble as Lukarux peeks the next rock. Lyron is right there to return it. And this is all sorts of trouble for Mapples, driving in. And CC next as well, still alive, looking for some shots. All of them kind of ready for this push as well. This is absolutely disastrous. You can see Lyron gets the vehicle explosion as well. The nature top it off, so more players now being flushed for Mapples.
Bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. You drive straight towards the center of a zone and expect not to fight August. That is a big mistake. It's pretty obvious that you're going to have to fight August if you drive straight towards the center. And Mad Bulls, now with a bit of third party coming in as well from the western side of Rocks from Pod Samolet. Looking like they might be coming off slightly the worse for wear, but the smokes are giving them enough cover for the time being that they can at least get a little bit of a reset, get back to 2 men alive, and get themselves back in a position to fight against the 4 men that remain. Almost an opportunity to convert that into a 3, but no, Lyron is there with the trade, and Quizzy gets sat down. Level 3 gear, not going to provide enough support. Ibby is the last man standing. It looks like Global Army is considering making a push.
Orgles, they might want to get a refill on that P90 ammunition that we've got on the other side, but they decide against it. Interesting. 150 bullets, not too much. Sure, it's enough for a couple of frags, but with a P90 literally laying right across on the next rock, and there's only one player left out for Mappos. I would have expected Orgless to push this now, and I feel like they should as well. Make sure to clean up these frags. This is what you need, but I think at the moment they're too scared of anyone else making a move on them. In the meanwhile, as you can see, Young Danes would be in a prime position to do so. Who've, by the way, haven't gotten to late game just yet. And we were talking about the impact from Pixelic. He has been IGLing for them. So essentially, this is a whole different team now in terms of playing style.
Yeah, it's a tough one for the Young Danes. Again, big shoes to fill. And they've really set the bar high for themselves, but just playing a little bit cautiously for the time being. They don't want to get too over-aggressive. Again, playing those hilltops on Tego, it very much seems like you're playing Horde mode in any game that has it. It's just constantly fighting off wave after wave of enemies. The zone has shifted once again slightly back towards host stands, so those teams that do hold on to a position on the northern side of the city get to keep it for now. Some of the hills on the outskirts of the zone looking more and more treacherous by the second, particularly where Ketpa and the Mad came in for support. They have to back away now as Twisted Minds have made their entrance. But he is no longer here threatening. It's still a very, very risky bit of terrain to try and stake a claim towards for Howl.
Yeah, especially if Bumble Squad continues to play that southeastern side. Because at the moment, you can't really rotate in between Twisted Minds and them without being pretty much forced into a fight, any kind of fight. First shots come out from Ruin, though, and it's a double headshot with a Mini 14. Crossbar goes down. Doesn't mean Howl is out of the question, though. I don't even think they can engage this without being still partied by Twisted Minds, essentially. So I'm not even sure what they're going to go for. It looks like they will. Looks like they will actually fight this. Look at this. One player is already up close. Marco, and one of his teammates, must be the Mad, is already close by as well. You can see Twisted Minds immediately wants to react on this.
Yep. Ruin got the opening knock. The Mad, he almost baited them as Ketpa drove back into the compound earlier. Now Howl with that up-close engagement. And they've always been a team that thrives in these up-close gunfights if they can get their hands on them. The cohesion, the synergy, the counter peaks, the trades, definitely on display up against a team like Bumble Squad, but Twisted Minds is still lurking on the edge of this fight. No matter who comes out ahead, they're going to have very limited time to try and recuperate before another team pounces on the opportunity. Example, can't quite land that spray, just slightly too long range with the red dot. And Code Marco just clinging onto life in the smokes. Ketpa now has been taken down, and Howl's position. They've really committed into this area as well. There's no backing out for this. They have to fight their way through it, but getting a drop onto Example is definitely a good opener.
It's a very good opener. Now the nades are coming on through. Lou gets one onto the Mad. Marco's really low as well, but I think the next nade that's coming in is only going to damage the Mad right behind the rock as the first nade comes through. Twisted Minds. I thought
North, there's been an engagement that's been threatened between No Tag and Broken Bones for honestly about 8 minutes at this point, basically since phase 1 in the compound where that airdrop crate is lurking just outside the zone on the northeast. They've been poking and prodding at one another but never really committed. But then as soon as they try and make a send to get into the play zone, the safe zone ahead of Orgless, happens at the exact same time that the Young Danes try to commit to making their own move, and all three teams just get shredded. Well, Ibby, well, he's found a way to survive, at the very least. Can't take that away from him. It's imaginative, to say the least.
Look, people are talking about Ibiza's IGLing. Let's just show them this clip. Just clip it and show them this clip. This is Ibiza's IGLing. Big brain play coming out from him. Probably no one would expect someone to be in the car that's just standing in the middle of nowhere, I guess, maybe. At least for now, no one's on the northern side, no one's on the western side. Due to the fact that no one can really play there.
This is the man that 4 years ago, 6 years ago, in fact, at PGI 2018, had that iconic smoke wall moment. Yeah, this is a man who knows how to survive, but hopping out of the vehicle in front of Twisted Minds might not be the best way of doing so, but he damn near took down Perfectix, and he did manage to take down Lou.
I love it.
Almost brought it down to a position where Twisted Minds was scrambling on to try and hold on in a 1v3 that they simply did not expect to have to try and take, but now he's just contributed a little bit to their car fort, while Twisted Minds' example holds down the back line.
I love it. Such a creative play coming out from Ibiza. Don't get me wrong, by the way. That was not meant as a shake, by the way. That was not meant as throwing shade. I thought it was generally a great play because you can't look into the car. You legitimately can't look into the car. It's just the way it stood there, literally in the middle of open. I thought it was pretty funny. But yeah, once again, you're right. If anyone's a legend in this lobby, he's got to be one of them. He is absolutely a legend of the scene. I'm one of his biggest fans since way back. I've got that one clip. I went to his chat once back when he used to stream very, very actively, and I told him he's the greatest player of all time, and he told me I'm a legend as well, and I've still got that clip in my highlight folder. Anyways,
wow.
Let's get back. Yeah, that's so much of a
let me
stand
add that to my folder of things I asked about on this stream.
Yeah, no,
Thanks, Felix,
anyways, I thought it was great.
But I've got to say, I got to agree.
Great.
Martin is definitely one of his biggest fans as well. That guy's about 9 foot tall.
Deservingly so.
But BBL pushing their way up the hill in towards August. Sorry, yeah, joke incoming, sorry. But now that basically all of the space has been cleared, we're into the top 8. There's nobody left on the east. Pod Samolet has full control on the west. We technically have 4 teams still clinging onto a tiny little bit of space in Hosan, and again, Ascend is one of them in that relatively unpushable area with those 4 apartment buildings. That's not a good sign for Twisted Minds, though. If Schiller lines this up, that car fort provides no cover from this.
Fairest, first of all, though. Going to eliminate Newgate as we are down to just 7 teams in Phase 5. Definitely one of the more aggressive rounds due to the fact that lots of these teams had to fight on the southeastern side and inside the city as well. Kiliakai picking up more frags now from just inside the city. There's a very long-range shots as well from plenty of these teams. So Twisted Minds has gotten the position that Biza was playing from. Unfortunately for Matt Bulls, not going to be the big placements they really wanted, but once again, doesn't really matter. With that being said, though, they will lose the one spot. Ascend now with 2 points in terms of frags, at least, will be on 91 points as opposed to Matt Bulls on just 19. Yeah, these are some great mortar shots coming in, but I think they're aiming for the cars at the moment. You can see that smokes are already going out, and until I feel like the crates drop, maybe they give some more cover to them. But at least until the crates drop, they won't be safe without these smokes. Okay.
Dip out of there just in time. The first few were just range finding, and the range was pretty damn accurate, but Twisted Minds knows what to do in this situation. You smoke up and you get away from the obvious position where the vehicles are, and maybe by the time you get back, some of the vehicles are flipped over. They can no longer be used against you. A little bit of extra visual cover as well. Pod Samolet was trying to contribute as well with some third-party shots on the side, but August, they've made the push towards them. They've gone for the western wrap, and Dante will be the first one up close. He's in the smoke for now to try and buy some time. Wraps around the side. Can't get the better of Global Army before CCI Next is there with the cover.
Oh, yes, he is. Good cover as well. On top of that, Oakless, not the first fight they've had in this one, but still only 5 frags. They needed as well. It was one of the last teams that came in from all the teams that played throughout the 6 games yesterday. So once again, they desperately need these points. Iro, on the other side, though, makes things harder as he takes down another player. All of them now very much trapped at the back of the northwestern zone. And with positions being taken out from BBL, I don't think they want to let these guys get into phase number 7. You can see them already trying to get closer towards this. Nades are coming out. 2 more in his hands. Maybe this one's going to hit something. No, it doesn't. Maybe the next one pops just behind the car. 28 HP, though, only being taken against Lyron.
Those grenades, a little bit short, but again, they're speculative at best with the amount of smoke grenades that are over on that side of the zone. As Pod Samolet back forced against the wall, but Rox is more than ready to fight back. He has a Grozer of his own. Presenti is also going to contribute with a knock on to another CCI Next. Just seeing those milk trucks just flying across, but it's still enough for Lyron to hit a little seat swap, get the double kill. Pod Samolet taken down. He needs to find another smoke or 2 before he can feel safe to get CCI Next, and definitely don't jump in front of Schiller like that.
No, not at the moment. Not the way Schiller has been performing so far. Just as much as Twisted Minds is. 7 eliminations. 25 points already. They're almost close to the cutoff point. Maybe if they win this round, they will already be in the top 8. All the other teams that played yesterday and aren't playing today included. I'm talking about FaceClan, I'm talking about Foot Esports, I'm talking about Baldinini, HEC. They even got a winless today, and they might still be very close. And to remind me, we've only got 3 games being played so far, so crazy stuff coming out from Twisted Minds. Really good start into this group stage.
It's a great point you just made. Schiller is performing. He is still alive. Great news for BBL as they make their top 4 for the first time throughout this event. Ascend denied with another little MG3 spray. We saw a lot of MG3s in play yesterday, and I've got to say, I'm so glad that people have started picking this thing up. It is an absolute shred machine. Thunder lost, unfortunately. Well, maybe fortunately for him, won't be on the receiving end of any MG3s because he's taken down by the MK12s of Fairy Tail, and that does successfully manage to make their way out of Hosan itself. But for how long? For how long will they be able to hold on to this position? Because the zone has favored Twisted Minds. Auglis is making a chaotic send towards the center, and that's not going to pay off either.
No, it isn't. Luke gets another frag though. Lyra goes down. And look at the positioning from these guys. They've got Perfectix all the way on the northern side. He needs to be careful. He does not want to get dropped though. Because if he does, it's going to be very hard to get him back up. He's only there as an NCAP position. The rest of his players in that 1-3 split all the way on the other side. Gatekeeping absolutely everyone. No one is going past Twisted Minds at the moment in this round. They've got an MG3 to top things off as well.
There's a reason why they committed so hard to taking this spot. Ibby damn near took it away from them. One more bullet on towards Perfectix earlier on, and leaves Kron as the last man standing on the outside of the zone to the south. They still know he's there. He lands a headshot, but it does not matter at all. Perfectix wipes him out from long range with a Dragunov headshot.
Good girly sent in towards the dip against Ibiza, and well, if that would have happened, maybe we would have seen Mapples even in the top 3 scenario, but they did do it, and the split in the end there. I can only give my congratulations to Twisted Minds. That was perfectly done. Perfectix all the way towards the northern side, just 1-3 position, while all the rest of them even pushed outside of the zone to make sure Fairy Tail does not get any chance in this game.
It's from the position that they're in earlier on, open field, hilltops all around them, mortars flying in. It doesn't seem like they have that much maneuverability, but Twisted Minds always finds a way to get more than what they should realistically have. Beautiful stuff from them, and it's great to see because a lot of people were questioning whether Twisted Minds would have that strong start, including our analyst desk. So let's see whether they've changed their minds or not.
So, still wish Twisted Minds had a strong showing a little bit earlier, but glad to see that they've finally woken up, and this was really a masterclass from them, Avenger. This is the Twisted Minds I wanted to see.
I think the biggest benefit to Twisted Minds is that we had a 2-hour delay, because now it's no longer the start, it's actually the end of the day, so I will credit that to them. Obviously, them jumping into this one here, standing strong and counterplaying everything around this, pulling up in on Ibiza and just taking out that position, and then you can spread out and then they can play the late game, because here, no matter where that circle kind of directed it, they're going to have some cover, they're going to have a little bit of util. They ended up getting way more points out of this than I expected to happen here, Sam.
How were they able to do that, Mark?
Control. They just controlled so much zone. Aggressive push into an area which, as I was saying, is just open. They held and they were watching those mortars, and there's a little bit of blessing from PUBG. They were gifted a lot of drops sitting down, but they know when to engage, they know when to not, but it's an aggressive stance, and maybe as we see this Tago, it's an area, it's a map that a team like Twisted Minds can get aggressive if they want to. Finding kills on the board, a 23-point game, that arguably is a lot stronger than some of the performance we saw from some teams yesterday, so shooting their way up this table.
Your leaderboard on your screens right now. I do want to talk about BBL, Avenger, where we finally saw them in the top 4. They also a very slow start. I expected a bit more from them as well. Did you?
Yeah, I was hoping them to start stronger here, but 12 points in just 3 games is fine. They have 9 more, right? They're a Group C team, so it is a little bit hard to play against the team. Then you have a Twisted Minds that pops off. Then you have teams like Ascend, Mad Bulls, Navi that is already super deep into being guaranteed basically at this point in the grand finals to play against. So them having 12 here, if they can get maybe 35 the rest of the day here, and they'll end in. Then they'll need to get like 30, 35 again tomorrow, and they'll be fine. So kind of the average is fine at this point here. But yeah, it's hard against teams that are super strong, like we just saw Twisted Minds showing us they are, and other teams that are dominating the lobby actually as they are right now. Ascend, Mad Bulls, of course.
A team that's not really dominating the lobby or showing up much, Mark, is the Brutality wildcard, Young Danes. Where have they been?
Well, unfortunately, this is the first game they've got some point or a point on the board. look, we've got to talk about these guys played brutality. They did have Pixel. Pixel is a big character. He's a big player. He's aggressive. It's the first day. Maybe with the delay, that's really not got things going. We saw some early movement. They went for the normal drop zone. They did lose the zone. It's worth noting as well, at this point, they could have maybe just gone for that whole head down full send in towards the center, but they didn't. They went north. They went round as close to the bridges, and they found themselves on the coast. They watched Pod come in, and eventually as Pod left the area, it was then where they put head down full send, and unfortunately head down full send, we know, doesn't always work out. They lost one to rotate. They lost another one, and then the opportunity came from Broken Bones, Martin, and arguably Broken Bones also a team that had nowhere else to go, and then with a knock, when they understand who's there, they were always going to push in, and only one kill on the board for Young Danes.
Yeah, a lot of rough circles coming against them, right? If you have to move every single zone, phase 4, phase 2 pop, phase 3 pop, phase 4 pop, it's just rough, right? You don't really have a foot inside the next circle. You have to constantly talk about where do we go, what's our plan, and as a kind of a newer team playing together, in this case, it was Anonymous. And as I said, Pixel, huge character, insane amount of experience, and like one of the most fantastic players to watch play. Like mechanically, he's one of the most gifted players in this game.
We are halfway through the second day of the group stages here at PEC Spring. We still have Vikendi and Erangel coming up for you. The teams for Group B, teams in Group B, they only have 3 games left to try and secure themselves a spot in the grand final. And for the teams in Group C, 3 more games left to try and get as many points on the board as possible. We are going to head into that third game, but first we have something a little bit fun for you. Check this out. What's up, gamers? It's another edition of the PUBG game show. You know what we like to do? We throw this into what is technically your toilet break and hope that instead of going to pee, you come here to watch your favorite players make complete fools out of themselves and get all the answers to these questions wrong. Just kidding. Today, playing with me, I got It's Chris, T-Bone, and a doozy. Gents, I'll start with T-Bone. Are you ready for this? Are you ready to carry the pride of your team on your shoulders and win the game show?
Absolutely not. I'm going for 100% wrong, so let's see.
That is exactly how I live my life. So I'm all here for it. A doozy, super serious face. Are you ready for this one?
No, not ready.
I love the passion. Chris, are we on the same page? You're just here doing this so that you can get back into him.
I'm full ready.
Chris there we go. Chris is the competitive one. Let's get straight into it. It's round number 1. Round number 1 of the game show, this is how it works. I'm going to ask you a question, gents, and then you need to submit your answer. If you get it correct, you get a point, and if you don't get it right, you don't get a point, obviously, because that's how point systems work. Let's get straight into it. First question, which player got the most kills in PEC Fall 2023? Go.
Which team?
Which player?
Which player?
What the?
I'm just sending a random answer.
I'm calling time to stop any Googling. This is it. Submit your answers now, boys.
Twire.tg.
It's too late, Chris. It's too late. I can confirm that after the first question, absolutely no one is getting any points because the correct answer was, in fact, Perfectus. Guys,
Really?
I was actually going to ask, just for fun, do any of you know how many kills he actually got? There's no points here, but you could maybe redeem yourselves.
Probably like 43.
Yeah, I was going to say.
He's a
43,
demon.
you were very close.
idea.
39. There we go. Okay, so good start, but don't worry, there's some more questions for you. This is the next one. What was the working title for Sandhawk? And by working title, I mean the original name that was kind of out there.
What? Sanok?
You're so lucky that you know how to. You're so lucky that you know how to play this game, because your knowledge of it is not great. Chris, no more Googling. What's the answer?
I don't know. Like, I have no idea.
Okay, gents, I'm going to help you out here. It actually used to be called Codename Savage. Ringing a bell? Anyone?
No.
No.
Nope.
today. Let's move on to the next question. What is the training ground in PUBG called?
Like,
Should I give you a hint? Is it going to help?
yeah, give me a hint, please.
Please.
It's named after a small animal, a small vicious little animal. Okay, so it wasn't Monkey Camp, a doozy, but you were very close. It's Camp Jackal.
Monkey cat.
I mean, monkeys are small and vicious. I get it. He was
Oh,
close.
you mean the island where it's training mode?
Yeah, what is the training ground in PUBG called?
Oh, okay.
Oh, well. Good job, boys. Still 0 points, but we got 3 rounds of this, thank goodness. 2 more questions left here in round number 1. This one you have to get. Come on. Which team won PGC 2023? No, I don't like when people start laughing after I've asked the easiest question on the board. Come on. I'm hoping everyone gets a point here. Fingers crossed. And I'm correct. Every single one of you got it right. Good job. 1 point for everyone.
Let's go.
Okay. Your opportunity to jump into the lead in the first round is about to come because it's the final question.
It's so
and
good.
here it is. What is the name of the electric van added in Rondo?
Oh, bro.
This is really hard questions, man.
Yeah.
The Tesla bus. Are you sponsored by Tesla, Doozy? Is that
No.
why? I'm just checking.
Like,
We're
it's
just dropping in a brand.
I knew like only Tesla electric cars. That's why.
I get that. Okay, so I'm actually going to give Chris a point for this because there are 2 answers you could have put in. So the first one was Pico Bus or it was the Neox, and he said the Neox Bus. We're going to give it to you. 1 point for Chris. You are in the lead as we finish round 1. Congratulations.
Thank you.
To see when that map gets added to esports, it's Chris driving around in that little Neox bus. Yeah, it's going to be great. He's going to be like, this reminds me of that time I won a game show for points that mean absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things, but the points in the overall leaderboard, they're the ones that count. And Twisted Minds, with that win on our Tego map 3 of the day, currently in first place on today's leaderboard. So maybe Martin's right. Maybe starting the day 2 hours late actually is a big benefit for a team like that.
Yeah, apparently it works. Let's hope they're not gonna do it every game. But apparently Twisted Minds, just what they needed. Great stuff coming up from them. Also, obviously I knew Itzchris was gonna win this one. I'm gonna go back to Itzchris and their performance because they, with the last game, have also done a great performance so far. But they just overtook Mapples with this one. I think it's 2 points, maybe 3 points difference. Doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, as you said as well. They are qualified already, but still. It's got to be a good feeling. So Matt Ball's in the center, 2 teams to watch at the very top, and I think that might just be a switch up happening depending on the Matt Ball's performance that we saw yesterday happening in this one again.
So if we look at the teams that are still competing today, that competed in yesterday's matchups, Ascend, Mad Bulls, both 90 plus points overall. They are both locked in now for the grand final. You would absolutely assume, unless anything ridiculous happens tomorrow, 90 and 93 points is practically a 100% chance that they're making it through to the grand finals. The next highest team on 9 games played so far is Na'Vi. They're at 68, so they're very close. And by the end of today, we presume that they will have had enough points to be pretty much locked in. But after that, August on 44 points is the next of the teams that performed in yesterday's games as well as today. And 44 points is not enough. So August, even with a big 4 point in the or 4 position in the leaderboard jump based on the previous game, still have their work cut out for them if they want to be safe by the end of tomorrow's final day of group stages.
Yes, they do. Yeah, I just thought it was interesting because when I came into this tournament, that wasn't the one team out of the first 2 groups that I would have expected to be standing in the situation they are now. I think there would have been plenty of other names, but not necessarily August. But then again, based off of their performance in the tournaments we've seen so far this year, which isn't much, you can't really go wrong with that prediction, right? They haven't shown us that in the way they've grouped this lineup and in the way it's structured and the way it's performed as well as a result of that, they haven't really proved that they can perform at the very top level. And just based off of the names, you won't get results. And it's really interesting because BBL had the same problem at the beginning of Brutality, for example. We're talking about that as well. So yeah, something's got to change for Oculus. BBL has changed it to some degree. Sure, maybe not today, but at least at the end of